Welcome to Cigars and Hip Hop. A show about hip hop during its golden age era.
Turn my mic on.
We'll also be discussing cigars and drinks that we enjoy during the discussion.
What's in your cup? What you be smoking up?
And now, let's get on with the show.
But I'm probably going. I told my wife when I die I wanted to be buried in a cigar box.
Nice.
So cremate me, put me in. Let me see. That's what I'm saving my boxes for. I'll probably be want to put in a Padron box or I don't know, Alex Bradley, Camacho, something. Just put my ass in there and just put me up on the shelf somewhere. Have a nice big party. Everybody smoke a stick. But shit, this is it, man. But this is a really good stick to enjoy, and you guys out there, I really recommend it. You know, and if you're not an avid smoker, I wouldn't start out with this stick. Get something a little bit lighter, but work your way up to it. You would really, I guarantee you would really enjoy it.
How do you know just based on looking at the stick if it's light or not?
A lot of the lighter, when the wrappers are light, can mean that it's, you know, like
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Some people think the darker the stick, the stronger it is, but that's not actually true, because I done had some sticks, some Maduros, that would just black as night.
Okay.
And you smoke it and it's still just a medium smoke.
Okay.
Maduros are actually sweet. You get a lot of flavorful notes from it. The Connecticut's are a little bit more lighter in taste, not as harsh. Really good. They make some really good sticks, you know, that are light. But just for my taste buds, it's like smoking a cigarette, you know. And think about it, you know, smoking a blunt or smoking a cigarette. You know, you got two totally different tastes.
Yeah. Okay, so
two totally different feels. The dark ones, like I like to smoke the Maduro. Like you probably won't find a light one. If you go into my humidors, you won't find a light stick in there.
Just by looking at it now. No way. I mean, I was gonna say, because you mentioned it. With different types of sticks, do you prefer a different type of drink, or are you one of those people that just sticks to? I'm a cognac person. I just drink. All I drink is cognac.
I can, like, when they make a cigar called an Opus X.
Okay.
When I smoke the Opus X, there's one called the Lost City. I like to smoke that, and I like to drink whiskey with it.
Okay.
With, like, when I'm smoking right now, if I was to be drinking right now, I would probably like to have some cognac. Probably like even just some Hennessy.
Okay.
Just and then there's sometimes I could smoke a different stick, like Romeo and Julietas. I smoke those quite a bit. Now that's a light stick.
Okay.
But some of them are a little bit bold. I drink water with it.
Oh, okay. So that's strong?
Not that strong, but I like the taste so much. Water cleans your palate.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So every time I'm puffing on it, after a few puffs, I wash my palate. Yeah, I may take a few swigs of water, because then when I taste it again, I get a whole different taste.
You know what? You touched base on something that I didn't realize, that, like, for example, I always wondered how they how dispensaries try out their weed, like, without contamination, in terms of like okay, I was talking to my friend about this, and like, I'm pretty sure they pack a bowl of whatever they're sampling. They don't roll it up. They take a little bit of it. They hit it, and I'm like, they have to clean up their palate somehow, because I know when you're drinking wine, you clean up your palate by smelling coffee.
Yeah.
So it didn't occur to me that water was the thing they use to clean your palate with. So that's interesting.
You never notice in the in the stores, like, let's just say you go to Macy's or Nordstrom's, and you're in the perfume department. Some of the more higher scale perfume department stores, they'll have actually a little bowl with coffee beans in it.
So
after you smell that on that little piece of paper, the cologne or perfume, you smell the coffee beans, because it changes your senses again. So now you got fresh senses to smell. It's the same with these things. Every time you drink some water, you get a different taste, because water has no taste to it. Cognac, you smoke cigars with cognac, you're gonna continue to taste the cognac, and, you know, which I'm not saying I recommend cognac and whiskey and bourbon with your cigars and all. But sometimes when you really want to get into your stick and see what that true, how complex it is, you want to just have a clean palate. That's why a lot of people like to drink Coca-Cola with it because they say Coke. I don't know if it's from the acidity or whatsoever, cleans their palate. Me, I can't do it. It's too sweet. It ends up making the cigar taste like a piece of candy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, so.
Okay. But
I mean, have you heard that? I'm looking it up right now. I was listening to it earlier. Nas got his new album out.
Yeah.
You guys listen to it?
Nazire?
Yeah.
Right. No, I haven't heard any of that. I've been meaning to though.
He got a song on there. What's the name of it? It's about the police shooting the kid. Cop shot the kid. It's him and actually Kanye West is on it. But it's a cool song, you know. And a lot of the people that I've seen reviewing the album is giving it really bad reviews.
Do you feel it has to do with the fact that Kanye produced it and the fact that Kanye's on it, or?
I think so.
I've also I've seen a couple of reviews already, where actually instead of actually talking about what he's rapping, and maybe it's just the websites that I read, but these guys were talking about how he didn't address the fact that I think it was his ex was saying that he was beating her up, and he didn't address that in the album. And so I actually was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you, do you think the men had to address that on an album? Do you think that that's something expected in hip hop, or you need to address your issues?
That's touchy, man.
Your own demons.
Well, I ain't got no demons about laying my hands on a woman because I ain't never laid my hands on a woman out of anger. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and sit here and be like, I ain't never wanted to just punch a woman in her grill. But honestly, I think it takes a stronger man to keep his hands to himself than it does to hit a woman. You know, and there's some feminists out there that may not like what I'm about to say, but I came from a era where a woman was a weaker vessel, as the Bible I think says. Not weak as in weak-minded or weak as in strength, but I took it as something that you're supposed to cherish. You don't get a fucking diamond and put it on a damn chopping block and hit it with a sledgehammer. You take care of it, and you should view a woman as a diamond. Right. No matter how dude, face facts. What woman ain't mouthy? It don't make a difference where she comes from, what background, unless she came from some little third world country like, over there in China somewhere where they gotta bow and do everything. But that ain't the wife I got, and I don't think that's the wife you got. No. But regardless, they gonna talk shit. Sometimes it take a bigger man just to be like, okay, whatever, and just leave the room. Come back at a later time. But to put your hands on a woman is is unexcusable. But I honestly think that putting it on an album, talking about if you sorry or if you did it or whatever, I think you should just stay away from. Some personal shit you should just stay away from. I mean, there's people out there that people got mad at me because of I'm a huge fan of Big Pun. Love Pun. Pun had a little dark time where he did some things that I'm not gonna mention because he's gone now. But Pun did some shit to his wife that was fucked up. Mac 10. Love Mac 10. Love Mac 10 to death. It was a rumor about Mac 10 did some shit when he was with the girl from TLC, T-Boz. Now, I wasn't there, but they say it's a fact. That's between him and her. And if he's sorry for it, good. If he's not, that's a demon that he gonna have to deal with on his own. But again, I think that's personal shit that him and that person, or them and their significant others, need to deal with. It ain't some shit you put on an album and talk about. And I don't think nobody should really be bringing that shit up, unless you in the middle of fucking on 5th and Market, you Jay-Z and Beyonce and y'all having a fucking fist fight,
Yeah.
Then that's different. You out in public doing some shit. But it's certain things I think you should keep sacred. You should keep in the house unless...
You know what it is, man? Go ahead, sorry.
Unless it's to the point, there are some women out there that I really feel for. Well, any woman that gets hit, I feel for. But there are some women out there that do have to come out openly and talk about, hey, look, this dude did this and that and that. Because if she didn't, it would continually still be happening.
Yeah.
So there are some things that you just can't keep behind closed doors because, this motherfucker could end up killing you. So you do have to come out.
Yeah.
But again, back to what I'm saying, there's no reason for a man to put his hands on a woman unless he about to make love to her.
Yeah.
That's
I'm old school like you, man. I grew up with old school women. I mean, I grew up with a lot of women, which is crazy, right? My grandma
and the women we grew up with beat our ass.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I
It
mean,
went the other way around.
No, and isn't that a crazy thing though? You grew up, and say in my example, my grandma, she fucking took out a belt one time and she said, "You keep doing what you're doing, this is gonna meet your body. I mean, this belt is gonna fuck you up." So then I got the picture. I got it. I'm not gonna get hit, but and then going back to what you said, yeah. I mean, my grandma was one of those people that would always tell me, your shit is private. Your own family shit is private. But we live in a world where everything is out in the open. You do some shit, and more even today, where
Small world.
I take it with. I like to put things into context, out of context, and at the same time, I like to know the whole story. But I think what happens with Nas is because of Nas made a name for himself for bringing about the issues.
Yeah.
Now these, at least these websites that I went to were talking about, well, if you're going to be about the issues and talk about, for example, this boy that got shot.
Yeah.
I think you have your own personal issue. If you really want to talk about it, you have a platform. If you feel that you did something wrong, that people expect you to stand up for that. I think that's where that was going.
And that makes sense. I mean, you can't be somebody that talks about issues and then you got your own issues that you're trying to hide in the closet.
I mean, with you saying that, I mean that's why. I'm gonna bring back up Drake and everything, and since his core audience is women, and like majority of his songs talk about heartbreak or whatnot, or falling in love or whatnot, but he never addressed the issues. Like he never addressed his issue with his parents in terms of like growing up and his dad left him, and now he's back, and now woo, and so. That's why that I feel like that's why he should. I don't know if he probably will address it in his album, but that was one of the lines that Pusha T came at him with, was how.
You said something too about him having an illegitimate kid or some kid.
Porn star.
Yeah, I feel like when things are publicly addressed, or when you stand on values, but when it comes to yourself, you don't apply. That same thing.
Practice what you preach.
That's why. With the Drake thing, that's why it's like you gotta respond.
Yeah.
How are you gonna respond to what he just said? Because from what we've seen your whole career, you've been your core audience has been women. But how are you not gonna address the one thing that your mom, your dad, that whole situation?
No, I feel you on that. I mean, that's why they say don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. So, I mean, like me, for instance, there'll be certain things that I'll never talk about because somebody could actually probably say, nigga, you did that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just really sad, though, because a lot of them get this mentality that I'm rich now, it don't make no difference. I did that back then when I was broke. It don't count. Or I did that when nobody knew me. It's not important. Mm-hmm. Man, that shit follows you all over. Look at that little youngster. It's I don't even know the cat's name, but he's some little popular TV, one of them little teeny bopper shows. I think he come on like the WB or one of them channels. Those little kid soap opera type shows.
Okay.
And before he was even famous, he said some insensitive things about fat kids.
Okay.
And he said something to about. He tried to make it funny, but it was something about don't put more on their plate because they already got enough to eat. Like don't.
Okay.
And it was
a
very.
fat joke. Okay.
It was a fat joke, and he said this shit when he wasn't even a star, but now he's a star.
It don't apply to him?
No, it's not that it don't apply to him. People are now looking at it being like, damn, you said this, and it's, it's now we're in the age of, you can't say shit about kids, or you can't talk about nobody, or
We're in a very sensitive.
Yes, we're very sensitive society we're in now. So now he's apologized for some shit he did a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's the same with these artists that they need to kind of sit back and think a little bit about like, you know what, I did that shit a while ago, but that shit can still, your past will always come and haunt you.
Yeah.
So be careful. You got to be really careful, man.
I feel like Tupac, he was one of those rappers that would make his weaknesses, he would bring out his weaknesses and become vulnerable. Because he would talk about how his mother grew up, and then about, males and females, and how we will refer to them sometimes.
Yeah.
We'll degrade them, and then at the same time we'll put them on a pedestal. And that's just, unfortunately, that's real shit.
Yeah.
That's real shit, because you and I can keep talking here about how much we respect women.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like you said, man, you're like, damn, I wish I could, whatever, right? Everyone has those thoughts.
I mean, you think about Tupac, though.
Yeah.
You think about Tupac, where I think of Tupac, he did a song about his mother. He did a song about his mom. He did that song, Brenda's Having a Baby.
Yeah.
But then he do a song, one of his popular songs, I Get Around, where, he in the tub with these girls, then he, got one, he's slapping on her ass and just, it's kind of
Double standard?
double standards.
Yeah.
But then it was Tupac. Tupac was I would say he is a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Tupac did everything.
Acted, rapping.
He was an actor. He was a
activist.
gangster. Well, I won't say he was a gangster. He was a thug.
Yeah.
Thug, yeah.
He even
You know.
mentioned that. He even stated that.
Yeah, it's a true difference between a thug and a gangster.
Yeah.
So he was a lot. So I give him a pass because he knew he had been involved in everything. He had been shot several times.
He had probably hit.
He's been through it and seen it all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Done it all, seen it all.
That's what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is Tupac, he was very real about saying that maybe he had hit a woman at one point, and that at the same time he respected his mother. So basically, he brought out those demons and said, "Look, this is who I am.
Yeah.
You might not like who the fuck I am, but I'm gonna tell you what the fuck I'm thinking." So I guess that's the only area where I would side with some of these people talking about Nas, because this would have been perfect for Nas to say, "Hey, look, man, I'm just a motherfucking, I'm real, man. And this is me. I'm trying to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna sit here and lie that I don't do this shit." And if because Nas has been, like I said about the issues, that's how he made his name,
Yeah.
because he was sort of like a product of a Public Enemy. The world is yours. Mm-hmm. And all these issues that surround a black man. Well, shit. I think men in general, we're surrounded by all these fucking things. Once you hit the marriage life, you're being tested as a man. Whether you can hold a job, whether you respect your wife, or whether, how you raise those kids, you're being looked at.
Oh yeah.
So if you're gonna say one shit and act a different way, that's different.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, don't be on TV, driving that $200,000 vehicle with all this jewelry on, and your kids is at home starving.
Right.
Or you don't even claim your children.
Yeah.
Or, that's very hypocritical. And that is something that, a person's going to look at and basically make up their mind about you. Is this person, what kind of respect should I give this person? I mean, if you man enough to make a kid, you should be man enough to take care of a kid.
Exactly.
If you man enough to marry a woman, you should be man enough to be a husband. And it's a shame that a lot of these men aren't like that. And I'm not talking about Nas, I'm not talking about Tupac, I'm just talking about men in general, that we as a race, or us as a
Gender
human
society.
being, we gotta talk. We can't talk out the side of our mouths.
No.
we gotta just basically say what we mean and mean what we say and act on it. So if you're gonna be a woman beater,
Own up to it.
gonna own up to it. Don't try to come out with a CD talking about how you love your mama and how you this and that and that and that, and then you go home and beat the stew shit out of your wife or your girlfriend.
Who's also a mother.
You know, yeah. You know, all I know is I grew up afraid because I had a strong mother. We didn't necessarily get along, but I had respect for her. I can remember once that I told my mother, she told me something, and I said under my breath, you know how your mama got extra sensory hearing, she can hear everything.
That was sixth sense.
And
Women
I
have a
said-
sixth sense. We don't have it.
Yeah, and I was like, that's some bullshit. I said it under my voice. She was like, what you say? And I said, I ain't say nothing. But under my voice, I said, you heard me. Man, all I can say is I woke up on the floor. My mother had a broom. She bent that broom over the back of my neck, knocked me out cold. And I still remember that to this day. You know, I was a teenager years ago, but I still respect her because I disrespected her at that time. But she got that respect. And from that, I don't know, just between that and I think just the way of having a strong father and a strong grandfather, seeing how they acted with my grandmother and my mother, just putting your hands on a woman was just taboo. You just did not do that. And if you did, you was a punk.
Yeah.
You was a bitch motherfucker if you put your hands on a woman.
Yeah.
Even if she hit you, you turned around, you just got out of that situation. You came back later to try to squash things out. And if you couldn't, you just moved on.
Yeah.
But you didn't lay your hands on her. You just didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays
That's exactly how I grew up, man.
it's different now though. Now it's, you know, that's the big thing. Beat
Yeah.
your girl. You love her. You don't love her if you don't beat her.
Yeah. I was having problems with my wife back, you know, just regular marital, you know, you don't agree, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine comes by the house, sees me, you know, what's up, how you doing? And, you know, you kind of use your friends to talk about, you know, to sort of a release. Because, you know, you growing up old school, maybe you can relate. But as men, we tend to swallow our pains.
Oh yeah.
We're not, you know, we don't complain.
Yeah, because we don't want to be like we're failures.
Exactly, you know. And so he came up to me. He said, "Man, why don't you beat the shit out of her? You know, just beat the shit out of her. That's what you got to do." And I'm like, I looked at him. I didn't even give him an answer. I'm like, wow, you know. And I knew that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, I grew up. You know, like I said, I grew up with women, and most of the women that I grew up with, I mean, you know, my grandmother, my mother, I saw my mother get beat up, and if I would have been tall enough, old enough, I probably would have killed that motherfucker, you know? I mean, I don't know what I would have done, but I'm just saying, I think that going back to Nas, he's to me, he's an icon in the hip-hop industry. He really is. The fact that Nas can come back and make an album and make people get, you know, people are on notice. Hey, his next album is here.
Mm-hmm.
People are expecting. You know, based on what was his last album? You know, when did he make a last album? And the platform he made for himself. I think that's the only reason, but I mean, you know, given the production that Kanye's been making lately, and you know, everybody talks about how good he is. I just think that it's kind of hypocritical too.
Yeah.
It can be, you know, not really be real about the issues.
Speaking of hypocritical, since you brought his name up, I laugh about the Kanye West situation with him and the president, how they boys.
Right.
But you guys remember that shit on MTV when it was Kanye West and was his name Mike Myers or
when he was all like,
he said George
Bush doesn't care about black people,
Yeah.
and then
Bush
Mike Myers just looks at him
Mike
like,
Myers looked at him like, where in the fuck did that come from?
Yeah,
You know?
he double took though. I don't know if he was like,
Yeah, he was just kind of like, what the fuck, you know?
did he just release the single?
And but to now see how Kanye West is, and I mean honestly, you put George Bush next to Donald Trump,
Yeah, as a second dumbass.
You got fucking Malcolm X standing next to fucking David Duke from the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
And again, not to offend nobody comparing George Bush and Malcolm X, but I'm just saying it's that damn different. You know, George Bush, he was a fucked up president too and all, but he wasn't as near as bad as this new cat.
I mean, we joke about how dumb he was as a president, but no, Trump takes the cake.
Oh.
Trump has taken the cake as
You know the thing about Trump, and yeah, we're going to get political, is that I respect my white people out there. You know,
Yeah.
I know they struggle. They think we don't, but we do. We know that they have struggles. We know that the struggle shit is pretty. When it comes to struggle, it's pretty even across. If you don't have enough money,
Yeah.
it's real.
Because there's just as many white people on public assistance as it is minorities.
Yeah, and so to make shit to be real, immigrants are not here to take your jobs. They're here for an opportunity, right? And they'll be willing to get paid $1 just to survive. They'll do that. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Now I know there's white people who will do the same out there. I know it. I get it. But if you really want to blame somebody, you don't blame the immigrants. You blame if I'm in Ohio, where I imagine there's only like 10 Latinos in Ohio somewhere. Well, I may be talking stupid or whatever because I haven't looked at the stats, right? But
Hold on, let me Google.
Damn.
but Google it, man. Google it. While I'm talking, go ahead. What I'm trying to say is that I don't know. Maybe I'm being ignorant and insane. But the first person I would look at is fucking. You got to look at your local mayor. You got to look at your governor, and then work yourself up that fucking ladder and figure out, have they been failing you?
Yeah.
Is that what the fucking problem is? That's what the fucking problem is. At least in my, because politicians will do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Well, look at all these people that worked for this heat and cooling company Trump went to. I forget the name of the company, but it was a huge air conditioner, heater, whatever company. And Trump went there and talked all this stuff about how he was going to bring these jobs and how this company's been around for so long. He was going to do all these great things. He got elected. What happened to that company? Company left the States. I think the company went to another country to where labor is cheaper. Then people all lost their jobs, but all those people voted for the president in power right now.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You do need to look at these politicians. You need to work your way up from the mayor, the city council, the mayor, the senators, the state congressmen. You know, you work your way on up and see all these people that gave you these false hopes and false promises. What are they doing? But we as minorities in the United States, we get so relaxed and so used to the way we live. You know, as they say, you know, we basically piss poor. We ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. They need to start vote these people out. But then when you say, well, we're going to vote them out, but then the next motherfucker you put in, do the same damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, really difficult, but I agree with you. We do need to start looking more into that. We do need to have some of these young people or younger generation get political and look at it as a whole. Get deep. Dig deep into it. Shit, pretend it's a pair of Jordans. Save your money and fucking all that money that you buying this bullshit with, put that into something positive. Mm-hmm. You know, the kids nowadays are more involved. They don't. I feel sorry for them because their futures are going to be so bleak. Us, when we become senior citizens, we're fucked. We already know we're fucked. But they don't have shit. And they're continually voting for these people that are getting put in Congress. Soon as they get there, they get under the fucking thumb of these huge corporations because they flash you some money. That's like me, I'm going to come up and be like, hey, Frank, I'm the NRA. I need you to pass this bill for me. You know, they go $2 million under the table. Just pass it. I know it's fucked up, and I know kids is getting shot and this and that and that, but don't worry about it. You got $2 million. You ain't even got to live in that fucking environment no more. Shit, okay. Mm-hmm. No problem.
No.
You got the money, you gone. You forget about all those promises that you made to people when you were running for office. It's really sad, and we as a people have become used to it, and we just expect it, and we accept it as the norm. It's okay. It's always been like that. It's always going to be like that. Man, it doesn't have to be though.
No, it doesn't. Like the whole immigration thing, like I was saying,
That's fucked up.
that shit don't get fixed, because if it got fixed, what kind of pull would you have as a politician, you know, the next time you want to run? You can't speak on that platform and say, if you're an immigrant, I'm going to help you. If they fix that shit, then he wouldn't be able to say that. Same thing with the miners, you know, people who used to mine, you know, in some of the other states up in the east, you know. I mean, those guys, I feel personally that their governors, their local officials have failed them, because if you know that your state is no longer, or like Detroit, right? That was the fucking mother state to make cars. If no longer that was going to be, then what else can we do? How do we incorporate ourselves back into society and help these people get back to work?
Well, see, that's the new thing. I don't know if you guys read up on it, but you know all these new tariffs that the president is putting out.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically going to have a huge impact on us in a few ways. But what I just heard about recently is that, I guess since he's feuding with Germany, he wants to put a tariff on Audi, Mercedes-Benz, I think it's Volkswagen, and I'm not sure what the other, but it's a fourth car maker. And by doing that, basically what he's saying he's going to happen is all the cars in the United States are now going to be built in the United States. He's saying that he's trying to get acceptance, or he's trying to get his approval rating up. Oh, he's going to bring these in. Man, don't fall for that shit. You know, honestly, the tariff thing is going to really fuck us up, because what we talking on right now is made in China or Taiwan or Japan.
Yeah.
The laptops, the phones, the iPads, all the things that we need to make money, you're going to put a tariff on. What? Last time I looked, they're not making the iPads down in Palo Alto at Apple. They may be making little programs, but all the components is shit being put over there overseas somewhere.
Exactly.
So now that's going to be out to us. Do we have any electronic companies that make shit in the United States?
No, not at the moment, no.
I know Sony. Last time I remember, Sony was getting some of its parts made in Mexico. I think the parts were being made in China, but it was being assembled in Mexico.
Yeah.
So now, our Sony TVs, what the fuck we gonna do? I mean, so you're trying to basically make us, as you say, bamboozle us into thinking that, you know, you're gonna make things better for us, but in all reality, you're making shit a hell of a lot harder. You know, the thing with the immigration, I'm really, really angry about, because I don't personally know anybody that's recently has been deported, but a lot of these closed-minded people are talking a lot of shit about people coming to this country. But you touched on it. Who picks the fruit and vegetables? Because most of the people in the United States that I know think they too good to get out in the field and pick shit. Who busts tables? Most of the people I know think they too good to bust tables and wash dishes and work in certain restaurants and so. I'm not doing that. That's labor. That's beneath me. But these people come because it's not beneath. They have a work ethic and they want to feed their families. You know, people talk a lot of shit about people that come over from different countries. You know, we had a group of people in our neighborhood. I went to school with the daughter. Her daughter name was Lupe. Lupe's father had a nice house at the end of the block. His family would come. They would all live in that one house. Once they got established, they moved. Another family came in. They helped. He was helping his family. They was coming. It seemed like every year or two, there was some of her cousins was here whatsoever. But they all ended up. We knew all of them because we all lived in the same neighborhood. But they all worked together and they was doing shit. They was delivering newspapers. They was working in restaurants. You know, I can still remember her grandfather. You guys remember the the little cart on the bicycle wheels pushed down with the ice cream in it.
Yeah.
Ringing and hitting the bell. He'd be hitting the bell.
Ah.
Be going down. Shit, we couldn't wait for her grandfather to come. You know, he probably wasn't making that much off of it, but he was doing something.
Some cool change.
Yeah, you know, black man.
Well,
I ain't doing that shit. My feet gonna hurt. I ain't doing all that walking.
Well, people jump into this shit when, you know, take for example, the fucking taco trucks, right? Taco trucks been around forever, for fucking ever, right? Our generation saw taco trucks. You were down seeing it. Now today, it's, you know, the food trucks.
Yeah.
They'll get into one block and then everybody wants to go taste food. Where do you think that shit came from? That idea.
Exactly.
That idea came from a hustle that people said, hey, why don't we take this fucking shit mobile?
What was my fucking breakfast every morning on my way to school? Walk by the taco truck, and back then I was getting tacos for 50 cents.
yeah, that's right.
Man, I get about 8 damn tacos. Cilantro, the onions, throw the little sauce on it. I'm walking to school eating. That was breakfast.
Yeah.
But now it can change. It became hipsters, you know, with the you can get all
fusions
the
Chinese and
fusion.
Japanese and
I'm like, I don't even eat that shit. I still go, even though I live hella far, I still go to Oakland to my favorite taco truck. It's called Taco Zamorano. I will go there and I still get my tortas and my tacos and whatsoever. But think about it. Keep fucking around with immigration, we ain't gonna have that no more.
yeah.
The real shit.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Cigars and Hip Hop. See you next Tuesday. Peace.